Hola, buenas tardes. Welcome to the fall semester at CWI. I am recording this video for both Spanish 101 and 102. So there will be things that I'm going to show you that will be from one class or the other, but most everything is fairly similar. My classes are set up fairly similar between those two classes. So hopefully what you will see will be applicable and you'll be able to use it to help navigate through the course. What I'm doing with my online classes lately is I do these videos once a week usually, and I was inspired to do them by Facebook Live videos. So what they are is just kind of a one take. They're not gonna be super polished. This one, the sound and everything is probably better than what most of them will be because I'm using the recording studio at the campus. But a lot of times I'll just be using my cell phone camera or my laptop at home, locked in my bedroom away from the 3 kids and 3 dogs making noise, or whatever, just wherever I am, when it's a good time to record these videos, that's where I'll be. So, and usually I won't be doing double duty with 101 and 102. Usually you'll have separate videos that pertain specifically to what your class is working with that week. So, and I'll use different formats. Sometimes it'll be a webcam video, and other times it'll be a screencast where you're just seeing a recording of my screen as I work through some assignments. So sometimes, like I said, it'll be working through assignments in my Spanish lab, or giving you examples and ideas for and further instruction for another kind of assignment that we're working with. Sometimes I'll ask you to submit questions, and then I'll spend the video time talking through the answers to your questions, or just whatever seems like your class section is needing that week. That's what I will work on and try to provide to you in these videos. I usually shoot for keeping them between 5 and 7 minutes long. Week 1 usually ends up being a little bit longer, but we'll see how it goes today. So what I want to do is walk you through just quickly through Blackboard and my Spanish lab and make sure that you know how to find your way around in the class. So this here that you're seeing right now is the Blackboard shell. So hopefully this looks familiar for you. The default landing page will always be your announcements. There's my faculty information, the syllabus and schedule, and then the place you're going to spend most of your time is in this assignments tab. And each week a new folder will be available, a new module I usually make them available on Friday for the unit that opens the following Monday. So that way you have kind of 2 weekends to work on those assignments, and you can get in and kind of start previewing it the first weekend and then finish it the following weekend. So let's see. So right now it's only week 1, but by this Friday you'll be able to see the week 2 materials if you're ready to start working on those. And what else was I going to tell you in here? Okay, so one thing that I want you to know, what it's going to feel like most of the work that you do is in my Spanish lab. And so it's fair for you to spend the bulk of your time there. But what I want you to do is really think about Blackboard as being the skeleton of the course. It's really where the structure of the course comes from. So Blackboard is where I put materials and resources that I have curated just for you. So I've put links to YouTube videos that I've created or that other people have created and that I've found useful and good explanation of the content, and I include those here. So, and I also tell you which pages of the textbook correspond with that lesson, which of the SAM exercises in my Spanish lab correspond to it. So you can, especially if you're struggling with the content, you can really, by using the Blackboard pages or the Blackboard folders, you can really break the material down into more manageable chunks and just work with one concept at a time. So instead of reading all of the textbook pages for that week and then going through and trying to work through all of the SAM assignments, instead you can read, like it says here, read these pages, use the additional resources that I've posted, watch the tutorials, check out any additional links that I have there, and then just work through those My Spanish Lab assignments that pertain to that and see how your comprehension is. And then when you feel like you're good and you're done, you have a good grade that you are happy with on those SAM assignments, then you move on to the next topic. So that's something that I really recommend for students who are feeling overwhelmed in the class, is to use use Blackboard as your landing page and start with Blackboard and the resources there. Don't go straight to the SAM assignments in My Spanish Lab. Also, keep in mind that there are assignments that are only in Blackboard. So the quick writes that you'll be doing every week, the compositions, the signature assignment that we'll do later on in the semester. There's some of these assignments that they only show up in Blackboard. So if you forget about Blackboard and you're not checking in here, then you're going to miss some of those assignments. The discussion boards also, when we talk about culture, our cultural lessons will be discussion boards that you'll do in English. So those will also be in Blackboard. Okay, so once you've gotten in and reviewed the materials in Blackboard, then that's when you'll go to My Spanish Lab. When you first get to My Spanish Lab, you're going to have this pop-up that will tell you to tune up your browser, disable pop-up blockers, set your course time zone. Be sure to actually go through those. It'll make sure that you have all of the plugins that you need. If you're trying to click into assignments and nothing is pulling up, probably the problem is most likely going to be that you have a pop-up blocker that's preventing that from opening. If that happens, look up here. Move this. Look up here in the far right-hand corner of your browser address bar, and there will be a little box with a little red mark on it showing that pop-ups have been blocked. So click on that and click Always Allow Pop-ups from whatever it says in the mylabs.px.pearson, and that should resolve that problem. Also, if you have assignments that are showing up being due at random times like 10 p.m. or 1 a.m. or whatever, you probably need to change your time zone, and that way they'll show up correctly as being due at midnight or 11:59 p.m. on the days that they're due. Okay, so when you're in My Spanish Lab, there's 3 things I want to show you. Okay, the first one is the course calendar and stop. The first thing I want to show you is this little box here, the unread comments. This is something new that I'm trying this semester. I haven't done this before. When I have on my end, on the instructor view, I can tell when there's an assignment that a student hasn't passed. And I won't always for every single assignment go in and give feedback, but if I can tell that a student has tried an assignment multiple times and they're just not getting it, I'm going to try, and I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this up, but I'm going to make every effort to do this. I'll go in and record an audio file, an audio comment that'll say, hey, here's what it looks like you're struggling with. And or sometimes I might type a comment depending on whether audio or typed is going to be better for the problem that you're having. So what was I going to say? Anyway, so I will make those comments and submit them. And then when you log in, you'll see that you have an unread comment from me, and it'll show which assignment it pertains to and what my comment is. One thing to keep in mind is I'm probably not going to be doing those comments on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. So if you are struggling with the content, the earlier that you can get in the week, the more likely it is that I will be able to get in and provide feedback to you on those assignments. So I'm not saying I'll never do it over the weekend, but if everybody is submitting assignments on Saturday and Sunday, the likelihood that I'll get to everybody that's struggling with a particular thing and post a comment is just not very high. So, but if on a Saturday or Sunday you are struggling with something, take a screenshot of it, shoot me an email and say, I need some help understanding what I'm doing wrong here, and then I'll try to get back to you on that. But I'm going to try to use these comments as a more proactive way to address topics that you might be struggling with in My Spanish Lab. Okay, the other thing is this course calendar and to-do list view. These are going to be the most useful views for you. I really like the to-do list view. So I'm going to show you that one, and you can play around with both of them and decide which one is better for you. So when you click in here, it'll show the things that are due. So here's something that's due today. Here's the things that are due on Sunday. And then you can click show more, and it'll list all of the things that are due this coming Sunday. It'll show when it's due, which topic it relates to in the textbook, how many attempts you have remaining. And then you can't see it until I move over, but right over here, it'll show your status. If you've started it, if you've passed it, so you'll know what you need to still do with each assignment. And then you click Start here, and it'll pop it up in a new window, and you'll work through that assignment. The final thing I wanted to show you is the e-text. And I know I've posted some announcements about the print textbook, and I've talked to some of you via email about the print textbook. But for right now, and the e-text is a really great resource, even when you do eventually want to use, when the print textbook is in the bookstore, if you decide you want to use it, that's great. But I do encourage you to use the e-text as well as you're studying, because of what it offers for the audio of the vocabulary especially. And it is taking forever to load. My understanding is that it's always kind of problematic during week one. I don't remember having this issue before during week one, but I'm going to give it a few days. The department chair has emailed Pearson to see what's going on and if we can find a solution. But what I recommend is that when you're ready to start studying, go in and open the e-text and tell it to go to the page that you want to go to, and let it load while you do some other things, while you check Blackboard and all of that. And I guess I'm not going to be able to show you the e-text because it's taking forever. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the page numbers, one thing I want to say is that page numbers in the e-text are identical to the pages in the page numbers in the print text. So anytime that you see page numbers, they should be the same regardless of which, whether you're looking at the digital or the print version of the textbook. Another thing that might be helpful is there is an app. Sorry, that's why I'm looking down at my phone right now. There is an app, and I'm going to actually zoom back out. Sorry, this video is getting way too long. But there's an app for Android and Apple devices called e-text. If you search for Pearson e-text, you should be able to find it, and you'll see there that it has our textbook. You'll need to download it the first time that you use it. If it doesn't show up on your screen, I'm not sure if it'll show up when you log in with your Pearson login, if it'll just default to that textbook, but otherwise you can search for Arriba. And it has, you'll notice that's identical, if it'll focus, that's identical to the page that we were just looking at on the e-text. The page numbers are identical. It has the audio so you can listen to the vocabulary. So if you're on the go a lot, or you have a mobile device, a tablet or a smartphone that you use a lot, especially if you're used to using it for studying, I would recommend that you download the Pearson e-text app. It's actually one of the better learning apps that, as far as how quickly it loads and how well it works. I've actually been really impressed with it. So that way you have the textbook with you in your pocket everywhere you go. And that can be really helpful and help make the course content a lot more accessible to you with your busy lives. So I do recommend that for the textbook. Right now, that's working better than the e-text on the website. So you might want to consider using that instead for right now. Okay, so that is, in a nutshell, not as quick as I wish it had as I had been with it, but that's a quick rundown of Blackboard and my Spanish lab. One thing I wanted to mention really quickly before I go is the course documents area in Blackboard. That has a lot of additional resources that don't pertain to just one lesson in the semester, but to multiple things. So like the instructions for typing Spanish characters, the verb conjugation charts, rubrics for different assignments that you'll be completing, and all of that. Those documents are in the course documents area in both the Spanish 101 and Spanish 102 course shells. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I wish you all the best of luck with getting everything going for week one, and I will see you all online.